Hey guys, this is Joe D with the Roundhouse Report, coming at you on Monday, May 6th, 2:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That way, if something happens in an hour, I've covered myself. I'm dating what I'm doing because things are so fluid. Now, this video is going to talk about Tim Pool, Timcast. He was one of the protesters inside of Occupy Wall Street. He wasn't a protester. He was an independent journalist who stayed in those encampments. Tim Pool's been around for a long time. I'm sure everyone has heard of Timcast and all that. I watched 2 of his videos, and he seems to have some strange ideals as to what exactly is going on overseas in Israel and Gaza. Timcast feels, okay, so the United States for months now has been building this has been in the news, they're building a floating dock, a big floating dock about 1 kilometer off of the Gazan coast. So there's this floating dock, their ships come in, and the whole point is to have more humanitarian supplies come in directly. So the ships come in, they offload onto the fake pier, the floating pier, and then put on trucks, and those trucks go down a long causeway. It's not like it's 20 feet off the beach, it's 1 kilometer off the beach. Last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, they came under mortar fire from Hamas. I didn't think this was a good idea to begin with, this whole floating pier crap, because you're just a target. For real, imagine if you get shelled and you have RPGs being fired and this and that. I didn't think it was a good idea from the beginning, and I was a little bit suspicious. So they have been building this floating dock in order to bring more supplies, ostensibly in order to bring more supplies, humanitarian aid into Israel. And Tim Pool had a very bizarre position. He seems to think that this humanitarian pier is an excuse for an American invasion of Gaza. I was very surprised to hear this come out of his mouth. He feels that this American-made pier, that once there's about 1,000 U.S. troops working on it, taking care of it, that he's saying that the United States is invading Gaza. We're invading. We're making a beachhead on par with the Normandy invasions, was the implication, that we're going to flood the beach with troops. He said 1,000. And Lloyd Austin, the Defense Secretary of the United States, said if those troops, which are not going to hit the beach, they're supposed to stay on the pier or back on the dock. They're not supposed to touch the beach. Lloyd Austin said, if they're fired upon from a long distance, if they're shelled, the United States forces are allowed to fire back. And of course you are. Under Obama, the rules of engagement were absurd, where you couldn't fire back. But Lloyd Austin said, yeah, they can fire. If they're attacked, they can fire back. And that's not unreasonable. But Tim Pool seemed to make it seem like the Americans were about to launch a Normandy-esque invasion, and they're going to establish a big beachhead. He didn't explain why. He just said that's what we're doing. All right, well, I told you the long causeway leading into the beach. And then there's going to be a bubble around that entire beachhead where the Israelis are going to have security control. Serious control. Because if Hamas is allowed to, say, send, or Hezbollah for that reason, which they actually do have these weapons, the anti-ship missiles. You fire one of those missiles in there, you kill 700 American soldiers. I mean, it's a bad idea. You shoot one anti-ship missile against a floating dock, it's going to go up, and a lot of people are going to die. That's why I didn't think this was a good idea to begin with. But we've been doing it. Except they paused construction. Let me just look at my notes really quick. The construction itself has been paused due to, quote, bad weather. Okay, that will stop you for a day or two, but for them to do an overall pause on this floating dock and this pier going into Gaza, it's sketchy. And I'll tell you why. As you know, 2 weeks ago, a bipartisan spending bill was approved in Congress. It was also bipartisan in the Senate. And then it went to the Oval Office, to Biden's desk, and he signed it into law. This aid package is about $65 billion for Ukraine, $9 billion for Taiwan, and $26 billion for Israel. Out of that 26 billion, 9 billion have been earmarked for the reconstruction of Gaza. So we'll just say 26 minus 9. This was 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden, and I just saw this. I'm still trying to make heads or tails of this, but Biden is pausing the aid to Israel. Ukraine, good. Taiwan, good. Israel, no. We're going to hold off. That's absurd. When you have a bipartisan consensus in Congress, both chambers, and then it goes to the desk of the president and he signs it, and then 2 weeks later he decides to hold up the shipment. Number one, Trump they brought up impeachment articles against Trump, and I don't know if this was his first impeachment or if it was an attempt at impeachment. But aid was set aside under Trump's rule, and it was set aside for Ukraine, and it was signed just like Biden. It was signed. It was through the House, through the Senate, to him, and then he suddenly decided to put the Ukrainian money back at the point it was 30 billion, 40 billion. I don't remember. This was years ago. And by him holding that money back, once it was passed through Congress, by him holding that, because remember, Congress has the purse strings, by him refusing to do what the law, which was voted into, said to do, aka help Ukraine send the stuff to Ukraine. And again, this was during his presidency. This is years ago now. And the fact that he held up that Ukrainian aid that had already been passed through the Congress and was at his desk, and I don't know if he signed it or not. I'm not sure about that. But the bottom line is it was brought into law, and his decision to postpone the delivery of Ukrainian aid, that is one of the first things where they open the articles of impeachment. Again, I don't know if he's been impeached twice, once out of office. The first impeachment, I don't remember what it was exactly, but regardless, the initial, and this may have gone to impeachment like I was talking about, or this may have just been a prelude to the Democratic strategy against Trump. Impeach him, impeach him, impeach him. They used the fact that he withheld aid that had been signed into law by the United States Congress. He withheld the delivery of that aid to Ukraine. And then the Congress, the Senate, pulled up articles of impeachment. All right. That happened under Trump. No one likes Trump. The media, I'm not talking about the population. I'm talking about the media, the establishment, all that. So Trump did it, and they were about to impeach him. And they may have impeached him on that. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I'm looking at my notes here. So Biden is pausing this $26 billion package that's going into Israel. And imagine the amount of bombs, small arms ammunition, mortars, shells, the Arrow defense system, David Sling Arrow defense system, the Iron Dome, the Iron Laser, refitting Patriot missile batteries that are provided by the United States. They need this stuff. They've been fighting nonstop for 7 months. They're out of ammunition. They need it. I'm not going to say they're out, but they have to be running low. I mean, they've used so many bombs. It's absurd. So he certainly paused it. And even though it was bipartisan and even though Biden signed it into law, he's going by suddenly pausing it, he's going against his own signature. That makes him look even weaker. Well, today I decided to sign it, and then I gave it some thought, and then 2 days later I decided to withhold it. That's not how this stuff works. That's not what appropriation bills do. They're passed in the Congress, the Senate, the president's desk. That's how the bills started from the very beginning when Ukraine was first invaded. It goes up the ladder. Biden signed off on this aid package to Israel for $26 billion, and now he's going to withhold it. I don't know why, but the actual headline was, one, Biden is going to postpone the delivery of one weapons package. Okay. That could mean a crate of ATACMS long-range, high-precision missiles from the United States. Or, I don't know what their play on words are. I don't really know what the basic propaganda-esque strategy that they're trying to put forth. But I think you guys see the absurdity of this pretty clearly. Oh, they're not going to try to impeach Biden. Oh, no, he's untouchable. And nothing's going to happen to him. But Israel, it's like they really played like a trick, like a prank on them. All right, we're sending you $26 billion in weapons, aid, etc. A week later, we're going to withhold one weapons shipment, one ammunition shipment. That one ammunition shipment could be the totality of the $26 billion aid package. They're not saying. The headlines are Biden is withholding one aid package or ammunition deal. He's holding it back in order for Israel. He's holding it back. We don't know why. It makes no sense. I mean, we actually, we should be quite ashamed of this. And like I said, they pulled a prank on Israel. They're like, oh, great, you guys signed it into law. Let's do it. All right, we can replenish our crap. 2 weeks later, no, we're going to withhold it. And by, quote, one ammunition drop, by, quote, one ammunition delivery, again, like I said, that could be a pseudonym for the totality of the $26 billion, or they could just be talking about sending 500 ATACMS long-range missiles. We're going to hold those back, but we're going to send everything else. It's so new, it's so fluid that nobody knows exactly what's going on, other than what I've just told you. I do have issue with Tim Pool making it seem like we're about to invade Gaza in force. I think that's absurd. The Israelis can't handle this on their own. They just need weapons and material, ammunition. So I don't like the fact that he made it seem we were going to storm he literally said 1,000 United States troops are going to storm the beachhead. No, they're not. That's absurd. No, they're not. Now, if they're fired up, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals. I'm not going to get into speculation. But the bottom line is these dudes are not going to touch the soil. They are not going to touch the soil. It's going to be all brought off from the dock, and it's going to be inspected by Israel. And there's going to be a protective bubble around the whole thing where you have jamming technologies, all that stuff. And Israel's like, why did you do this? So I am pretty flabbergasted over the whole thing. Let me make sure I got everything here. Yep. It's stupid. Biden signed it into law, and then 2 weeks later, he's like, yeah, I'm actually going to stop it. It makes no sense, but I wanted to throw that out there, that the $26 billion aid package that was much vaunted, because, again, it had bipartisan support in the Senate and in the Congress, the Senate, and then freaking Biden signed it. He signed it into law. 2 weeks later, nope. So it's insanity. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there's clearly some things going on behind the scenes that Biden does not like. So he's holding this as leverage over Israel. Until we know more, I just read about this today. Until we know more, we just speculate. But this is Joe D with the Roundhouse Report, and I hope you guys like the content. Put a little smiley face in there in the comments. That lets me know people actually watched the whole thing and didn't pull it out after 30 seconds. No double entendre meant by that. So leave a little smiley face. Give me some feedback. Subscribe, like, share. I'd really appreciate it. I'm a very small operation, and I'm trying to provide relative, neutral news to people who work 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week. They get home, they have 4 kids, they can't keep up with the crap. So I'm trying to I'm trying to keep people informed. And so let me know. And this is insanity. Tim Pool saying that the United States we're going to storm the beaches of Gaza. That's just dumb. The aid package being halted. What are you trying to do to Israel? Are you trying to get them to pull their hair out, which they've already been doing because Biden is such a pussy, him and Blinken. But I'm going off on an angry rant. So I hope you guys liked it, and I'm going to try to keep you updated as best as I can. The more that I read, the more that I watch. Let me know if you watched this. Let me know if you liked it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.